Save the president's daughter and redeem the nation. A country on fire. America was a powder keg, and President William Carter was holding the match. Elected on a promise to take back America. Welcome to Storylight Extra, where stories bring us together. Hey dear, you just found a place where stories connect hearts, sparks emotions and create lasting bonds. So stay, subscribe and be part of the beautiful storytelling family. Carter's administration had become a symbol of division. His policies on illegal immigration, particularly targeting black migrants, sparked nationwide unrest. To his supporters, he was a hero restoring order. To his critics, he was the architect of an oppressive regime. News stations ran fiery debates. Protesters flooded the streets. The tension was suffocating, a nation on the edge of an explosion. Then, at 2:13 a.m., everything changed. Emily Carter, the president's only daughter, vanished. The country awoke to terror. A video surfaced online, grainy, flickering, but unmistakable. Emily sat bound to a chair in a dimly lit warehouse, her blonde hair matted with sweat, her blue eyes wild with fear. A masked man loomed behind her, his voice eerily calm. "Mr. President, you call us criminals. You call us parasites. But the real criminals are in the White House. Today, you feel our pain. Today, you understand loss. You have 48 hours, halt your war against my people, or your daughter dies." Then, the mask came off. Malik Johnson, an ex-con, a former activist turned militant, a man who had seen the worst of the system, his mother deported, his brother shot by police. He had been beaten, imprisoned, discarded. Now, he wanted vengeance. The nation held its breath. In the White House, the president's world unraveled. The speeches, the policies, the rhetoric, none of it mattered now. He was no longer just a leader. He was a father, desperate, enraged, spiraling into fury. He vowed war, mass arrests, military action, a nationwide manhunt. But while the government scrambled, one man was already moving. Detective Dan Coleman had seen this before. A black officer in the Secret Service, Dan had spent years defending a country that barely acknowledged him. He had arrested men like Malik, understood their rage, but had also seen what it did, how pain turned to hate, how hate led to destruction. While the White House debated strategy, Dan didn't waste time. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't ask for backup. He had one mission: bring Emily home. The trail led to an abandoned slaughterhouse outside Washington, D.C. Rain pounded against rusted tin roofs. Thunder rumbled in the distance. The smell of damp concrete and old blood clung to the air. Dan moved like a shadow, gun drawn, breath steady. Inside, Emily sat tied to a chair, shivering. Malik stood before her, pacing, his grip tight on his pistol. His men lurked in the corners, armed and watching the countdown tick away. Dan didn't hesitate. He kicked the door open. Bang! Gunfire erupted. Bullets tore through the air. Dan dived behind a stack of crates, his movements razor-sharp, his shots precise. 1 down, 2 down, 3. Then, silence. Dan stepped forward, gun raised. Malik stood there, Emily in front of him, the barrel of his gun pressed against her temple. "Drop it, Dan." Dan froze. Malik's eyes burned with hatred. "She doesn't deserve this." His voice dripped with fury. "And my mother, my brother, did they deserve it?" Dan's hands tightened around his pistol. "You're right. The system failed you. But killing an innocent girl won't fix it." Malik's fingers trembled on the trigger. Emily sobbed. The room held its breath. Then, Dan moved. A single gunshot. Malik staggered, his body jerking. Blood spilled onto the concrete. For a moment, everything stood still. Then Emily collapsed into Dan's arms, shaking, crying. He had done it, but at what cost? The next morning, the president faced the nation. His eyes, once sharp, cold, were now hollow, filled with something foreign. Regret, gratitude, change. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Last night, a black man saved my daughter. A black man I once saw as just another name in a system I wanted to erase. I was wrong. Hate has poisoned us for too long. Today, that ends." Then, in front of millions, he tore up the executive order. The country gasped. For the first time in his life, William Carter truly saw people like Dan Coleman. But Dan just walked away. He disappeared into the shadows, carrying the weight of a world that was still learning to see him. And maybe, just maybe, he had saved not just a girl, but the soul of a nation. The end. Thank you for watching. Hey there, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. Stay with us, there's so much more to come. See you in the next one.